Look up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It is a Superman trailer, and everybody has thoughts. I kind of like it. Some people that I respect really don't like it. Let's talk about that on That Park Place. All right, let's get going. Okay, actually, Vash, I need to ask you, have you watched this trailer before?
I have watched it.
Okay, I have watched it as well. I have another question for you.
Yeah.
Have you watched this with headphones on?
I don't think I have. Not entirely the way through. I was getting the show prepared and I was getting multiple copies of it. And I don't think I've watched the whole thing with headphones. Why? What was your reaction there?
My reaction was different whether or not I watched it with headphones. I will say that. So let's continue on. All right, let's react to this. First of all, that is a weird position to be crashed in. I don't like it. It feels unnatural. But
yeah, that is kind of a weird thing. And we obviously have the iconic trunks there, which is very, very interesting.
What do you say it's interesting? It's how it should be, Vash. He should be wearing the trunks.
Well, I guess I don't know who it was. I don't know if it was a producer or somebody to that effect, but somebody was saying that because Superman was attempting to appeal to kids, that kind of takes on the tradition of like a wrestler almost. The kind of the trunks being exposed like that. So I guess that was their mentality going into this, which I thought was really interesting.
Yeah. For me, actually, it's not the trunks that distract me. If the trunks aren't there, to me, he looks naked, which is a different thing. To me, by the way, we're not being overly critical. We're telling you our thoughts as we go through here. I do appreciate that pushback. Totally fine. The thing that I actually notice about this costume, I like the way they're doing the cape. The collar at the top makes it look less like it's a spandex skin suit. I've been watching a lot of Lois and Clark lately, not Superman and Lois, but Lois and Clark. And, while it was the 90s and Terry Hatcher is a very exciting thing for a 10-year-old boy back when I watched it originally. I can't help but notice now that that suit is very much spandex. Now, Dean Cain did look great at the time. He was in great shape. It was very much a Superman look. But if you put that on screen now, I think people would notice. So I get why they put in the pads, but that shoulder pad right there, I don't understand the function of it. Like Superman's not a military man, so doesn't seem he's also super strong. So I don't understand why he's got a shoulder pad, but it does seem like a little thing to get hung up on. Also, speaking of things to get hung up on, Marvin.
He has the shoulder pads because it's a Kryptonian outfit, and they would have had shoulder pads on Krypton.
Okay.
That's interesting. David Crozensweat influenced the decision to wear trunks. Superman
wants
kids not to be Corn sweat. Corn sweat. Sorry. Oh boy. Sorry about that, guys. Superman wants kids to not be afraid of him. He's an alien with incredible powers, so he dresses like a professional wrestler.
Yeah, he's one of the Cro-Mags from the later seasons of Sliders. Yes.
Nice.
So he's also obviously injured, but we'll talk about that a little bit in just a moment.
Now, I understand. I understand showing him. At first, I was like, really? The first thing we see of him is he's like broken in the snow. This is our hero. But then I realized we have to try to make him vulnerable, which is always a challenge for writers, I find, is trying to make him relatable or vulnerable. However, I would prefer him, crouched in the snow than him being a deadbeat dad peeping Tom the way Bryan Singer made him. So
yeah. Well, I would say that Bryan Singer one, they went for the Krypton and dragging him by his hair on the Cryptonite crystal island or whatever. So they did their own beat down on Superman there.
Anyone making the case to me right now that like, oh, he's not supposed to ever bleed? I'm like, did you read The Death of Superman?
Yeah.
Do you bleed?
It's a little bit of an obsession point at this point. I love Henry Cavill, and I think he's great, but I think he was not properly served in that Superman role with the Zack Snyder films. I get it that there's that one scene where he's smiling as Superman, but they got rid of that one pretty quick because the rest of those films, and I've watched them several times over. Again, I like Cavill in the role. They're dour and they are not the tone of Superman that I'm used to. They are like someone who read Frank Miller and Alan Moore and then went way too far with it because they wanted to deconstruct something without ever actually constructing it in the first place.
You just described Zack Snyder, the ultimate edgelord.
Yeah.
Well, no, I think you're wrong to something here, Jonas, because I think Zack Snyder's version of these films was definitely made by somebody who wasn't necessarily a Superman fan and tried to like make it into something that he was a fan of, versus you can tell that James Gunn is a Superman fan kind of going into it.
Yeah, they made him a sneering murderer who the people of the world didn't like him and he didn't like the people of the world. It was just terrible. I'm sorry. We're going to go ahead. We're about to get into my next thing the thing that I really hated in this trailer.
Is it this hair?
He looks like Tony Khan.
I'm sure the wrestling fans will appreciate that reference, but
Tony Khan is the Melvin-like son of Shahid Khan, the owner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. He owns AEW. He's a dweeb, and Clark Kent looks like him.
That's fine. Clark Kent can be a bit of a dweeb. Now,
not that dweeb. Make him look like any other dweeb in the world.
Now, there's obviously two different ways to interpret Clark Kent. Clark Kent can either be it's the whole thing with Batman right now. Is Batman the Mask, or is Bruce Wayne the Mask? Is Clark Kent the Mask, or is Superman the Mask? Obviously, this changes by interpretation of the character. If Clark Kent is the Mask, I can understand the slightly goofy haircut.
Here's the thing. When Clark Kent is the Mask here, like somebody just pointed out in the chat, he's still a foot taller than everyone around him. It's like that SNL sketch where they had The Rock be Clark Kent, and it was just so painfully obvious to everybody that he was Superman. I don't like the Clark Kent is the Mask thing. I prefer the Dean Cain interpretation of Superman is what I can do, Clark Kent is who I am.
Right. Well, let's continue on here. I'm not sure what this says. This says Hammer creates hay. I'm wondering which Hammer that is, if that's a reference to a superhero here. By the way, I'm just going to go ahead and put these in here while we're talking about it. Mizzy Buddy for 9, member for 9. Gunn has a good track record, so I'm optimistically cautious for the upcoming Superman. That said, there was a lot in that trailer, tons of DC characters. I fear it may lack focus on Supes. So it's a fair point. Yeah. Jim Jam, member for 4. Now, this one's not optimistically cautious. Jim Jam is cautiously optimistic. The spirit seems right. Like it. Sean McNulty for 2. I guess we know the answer to Do You Bleed?
There you go.
He said he will.
Yeah. King of Monsters for $5. The Superman trailer and other stuff I keep seeing about the movie makes me feel like it's a CW cast and scripted movie. Hopefully I'm wrong, though. There's a CW moment that they could have put into this one. I'm going to talk about it in a minute, but I can see a little bit of that. There's a lot of mentions of color grading here. Martin Stone, member for 9. Superman and Clark in Metropolis are both masks, of course. Martin with the insightful take. That's absolutely correct. Clark in Smallville is the only one without a mask specifically on the Kent farm. All right, let's continue on. All right, there's a coffee shop next to the Daily Planet. I don't approve. Oh, sorry, a cupcake shop.
Daily Planet looks great, by the way. When we saw the shot of the globe and everything, looked fantastic.
It did. It's a lot better than the Daily Planet slapped on the side of a generic building like they had in Man of Steel.
Yeah. He's too small, by the way.
He is a little bit small.
He's tall. He's got the height. He doesn't have the size.
Yeah, this is one where I'm of two minds about it because, if Batman should be the peak of human physicality, and I feel like Superman with no challenges whatsoever should probably be kind of chubby, honestly, because he's not really been challenged by any of the, muscles need some kind of resistance in order to train. So I think from a practical scientific standpoint, it doesn't make sense for Superman to be ripped. but Superman needs to be kind of ripped, right?
I always took it as the sun energizing his body actually also like empowers his muscles and turns him into the pinnacle of physicality.
Yep. Yep.
I
That's
think
he is solar powered.
I think we answered why he has the shoulder pads, by the way.
Yeah, that's it. I'm not right here in this exact moment. I'm almost never a proponent of electric guitar in orchestral pieces. In fact, there is a super awkward moment where I'm sure it's Keith Richards that they put into Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End. There's a guitar piece that is so out of place in the soundtrack there, but they put it in anyways, and it just takes me completely out of the movie. But that being said, I don't think they could have gone just straight John Williams on this without it also being a little awkward here. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Oh, you talk about the music. I love the music in this. I think the music in this is the best part about it. I think the John Williams theme song transcends the Richard Donner, Christopher Reeve film. It should be used in some capacity in any Superman media because it is the Superman theme.
I'm a proponent of the electric guitar. I'm a fan of it myself. I thought it was used pretty well here.
All right. We have many opinions on that one. Hey, look at this. William Thompson says, I'm with weird WDW Pro member for 8. I don't want to hear anything about my name change. I just wanted to wish everyone a Merry Christmas, and I hope you have a great time with your families. Same to you, although I don't know which of the names I'm supposed to refer to you as here. I'm with weird WDW Pro. Thank you. And Tyler, the retrophiliac, for $4.99. Thank you guys for what you do and what you stand got. God bless. And what you stand for? Well,
what you stand for? Yeah, it's probably
right.
Autocorrection.
We're gonna talk about a little bit of that because there was some huge Pixar news that we definitely want to talk about in just a moment.
Again, newsroom looks great. She looks great.
Yeah. What is her name? Rachel Brosnahan.
Rachel Brosnahan. Yeah.
Yeah, she's great. This is the kid who played young Sean Spencer over here in the corner playing Jimmy Olsen. Jimmy looks...
Oh, good. Jimmy's in this.
Yeah, the hairline's a little high. Like I was expecting somebody a little younger looking, but he does look at least youthful here in this role. I'm noticing the wood grain on the file thing here. Kind of. This is the kind of thing that I look at when I look at a scene like this. You have both classic elements like a wireframe collection of papers right next to flat screen televisions. So they're mixing styles here, or this file cabinet over here. This is something where they're trying to mix it up in a way that makes it modern and also timeless at the same time.
Well, Daily Plan, I mean, it's the media is not doing very well, Jonas. So they didn't have the money for the refurb there.
Well, we'll have to see if they are reformatting their newsroom in order to account for a Lex Luthor victory or something like that. I say that because that's how the media pretends like the current political situation is going. She's looking. Yeah, he's being goofy on purpose, even though he has super hearing and all those things. That Daredevil level hearing.
Yeah.
Ooh, and there it is right there.
Yeah, gotta get that in there.
One of the most successful Marvel franchises of all time is being used to advertise a DC film. Youch. Yows.
Hey, Pa Kent.
Yeah, and look at this. He's one of those guys that always plays a down on his luck kind of guy.
Yeah. You know what? I like that Pa Kent is looking like an actual Kansas farmer would look, and not like some aged Hollywood heartthrob. The way he tends to look is like John Schneider or Kevin Costner. Like, you know, like these guys were definitely not been working the fields. I'm sorry.
Yeah, great shades of Elvis. I appreciate that point.
Well, that's Perry White.
I know. I'm just I've been watching a lot of Lois and Clark. It begins.
Yes.
All right. So we have our first indication that this is not going to be like the previous iterations of Superman on film. They have not done Crypto in the movies yet.
He looks perfect. I love it. If I was doubting, I'm back in right at that moment. You show me an adorable super dog, I'm in. Even if he is CGI.
To me, the CGI is a little to me, but maybe in the context on screen, it'll be a little bit different. Oh, here's a great one. Sean McNulty for $2. Superman meets Top Gun, the soundtrack. Yeah, when it comes down to it, when you get a little bit more on that pop side. Oh, did I just call electric guitar pop? Maybe I did.
Oh, well, I guess
when you get a little bit more on that rock side, it goes into that Top Gun area.
I don't understand the people in the chat that are like so confused that he's bleeding. Yes, he bleeds. If he gets hit hard enough, he bleeds.
It's because Superman is supposed to be invulnerable. It's the whole thing.
Yeah, but when you fight Ultraman, which I think is what's going to happen in this, he's going to punch you hard enough where you can bleed.
Ultraman, like the guy who they with the big white glowing eyeballs in the silver suit.
The rumor that I have heard is that the guy in black that we see tackling. I'll get to it when we get to the football field thing.
All right, Vash, I didn't mean to step over you. What did you want to say?
Oh no, I was going to say that the Top Gun thing kind of makes sense because I guess the flying action was shot with drones and inspired by Top Gun Maverick. So,
all right. Hopefully they put him up in the air, probably in New Jersey, to take out some situations there.
Home, take me home.
Country road. Yes, okay. right there.
I love this.
That's the part where I was sold.
Good stuff.
Yes. Superman saving someone, saving a little girl. That is perfect right there. Absolutely love this shot.
Right there. There. Because what's the one thing that he never does in the Snyderverse? Save people. Instead, they got that final fight with Zod. He saves nobody but that family at the end and destroys the city with a fist fight. And then their answer to that in the sequel was, well, it's a good thing that, while this big fight's going on downtown, it's after the workday and the entire section of the city is completely deserted because that's how cities work.
Exactly.
Like, what is this, Angel Grove?
Thanks for redirecting that giant tanker full of gasoline into this other building. Thank you very much, Zack Snyder.
It's like Power Rangers when Goldar knocks down a building. They're like, oh, good. It was only in the abandoned warehouse section of the city.
KR Nut for 82. No, Jonas, not that Ultraman. Thank you. I was glad that somebody understood what I was going for. I
didn't get the reference.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, Superman Lives for 14 South African Rand. This trailer gave me hope. It's been missed. Yes, it has. Oh, I love this shot.
I love this shot.
That is an interesting design right there.
But that Lex Luthor moment where he sees him fly by and then he turns around and has that look of pure rage and hate. Mm-hmm. Like that's a Lex Luthor moment that that is the Lex Luthor we need. He looks good.
Yeah.
I think he looks great. Jesse Eisenberg just did an interview where he talked about how he ruined his career.
Yeah, hurt his career.
And he definitely did.
Yeah. I think that Zack Snyder ruined a lot of people's careers. That's a pretty fair statement.
Superman.
I gotta wonder, we going to see some kryptonite bullets in this 6-shooter here?
Mm-hmm.
Probably.
All right, and this is I'm not gonna lie, this is the moment of the trailer for me. This is the one where when I had headphones on, I was like, okay, wow. This is some kind of border crisis in maybe a Middle Eastern country.
Superman.
What is Stag Industries?
Stag Industries is, I believe it's from Batman. In Arkham Knight, you go to Stag Industries. So it's one of those big, like, Luthor Corp kind of. It's a pharmaceutical company from in Arkham Knight. I don't remember what it was in the comics. That's a Spencer Bakuli or Kevin Apollo question.
Uh-huh. So I'm looking it up right now. Stag Industries is another mega corporation that's run by billionaire antagonist Simon Stagg. In the comics, Simon's daughter, Sapphire, falls in love with Rex Mason, played by Anthony Carrigan. And Simon is responsible for turning Rex into the disfigured hero Metamorpho.
Yeah, Metamorpho is definitely in this trailer. So now we have a different
my
disfigured
gosh.
superhero here.
Who let him out the house looking like that? My word. He
Yeah,
looks
that's
like
rough.
Stewart from Mad TV. Look what I can do.
He looks like Guy Gardner, though. That's the Guy Gardner haircut. It's actually a little bit toned down.
You know what? Sometimes we don't need to adapt things from the comics exactly the way they were.
Is he supposed to be a Green Lantern at this one?
Are they changing his name to Gay Gardner? Because he looks like a gay gardener.
Totally redeemed yourself? Dumb and Dumber vibes, maybe? I don't know.
Ooh.
Oh, he does look like Dumb and Dumber. Oh my gosh.
Right?
Guy Gardner doesn't look like this in the comics anymore, by the way. They've updated his look.
I'm sure they have.
Bowl cut.
Doesn't have a bowl cut anymore. Even the Guy Gardner I was familiar with was during the Death of Superman run, and I had no idea who this guy with the yellow ring was. Back when yellow rings were not necessarily like, oh, it's about fear. No, it was just something that was a lot like a Green Lantern ring, but it was yellow. Oh my goodness. Okay, well, I love Nathan Fillion and almost everything that he is in. So
people have wanted him to be the Green Lantern for years. They wanted him to play Hal Jordan. He was everybody's choice when they were making the Ryan Reynolds movie. They finally make him a Green Lantern, and this is what it looks like.
Yeah. Also, Hawk Girl back there looks a little funny. King of Monsters for $199. That Lex looks horrible. Is he Lex or James Bond?
He looks like Lex Luthor. He's bald and he's young and he looks like he's rich. What more do you want?
My question is going to be: is he going to be Luthor or Luthor? Which, gotta say, took me out of it back in the day. That's a great question, though. Siani Reese for $199. LMAO at all the jokes with Gardner.
It's gonna be tough. Yeah.
Thank you very much. All right. Let's keep going. And he is a Green Lantern.
He is a Green Lantern.
So
she looks good here.
Yeah, she does.
Okay, Kaiju. We got a Kaiju, which I'm like, yes.
I'm all for it.
I hope that's the opening scene of the movie. Because I had heard that this movie's going to start with a bang.
Yes.
Like they're gonna kick right into it.
Starts in the middle of the action, is what James Gunn said.
Yeah, so I'm assuming it's going to be this. And man, I like the idea of seeing Superman fight a giant kaiju monster in the middle of Metropolis.
I do too. That would be a good excuse for him to bleed. Oh, we got they used to call this back in the day. Well, yeah, they overdid it back in the day. They would put sky beams in things that really didn't need sky beams. So I don't care about sky beams necessarily in and of itself, but there used to be a thing in the movies where they would put in a love interest when you had two guys hanging out for a long period of time in a platonic movie. There's a trope called giving them a case of the not gays, where they would try very hard to confirm that the male characters are hetero. This trailer has a lot of making sure that everybody knows this Superman is very interested in the lady.
I'm sure we're going to get a lot of complaints about that.
Wow.
Why?
They're not having a good week, Jonas. First they lost Pixar, and now they lost Superman.
Oh man. I am looking forward to talking about that Pixar thing. That is a victory. So far, I'm taking this as a victory as well. All right, we got a robot guarding the Fortress of Solitude, but it's a robot that makes you cry. So
it's definitely in the fortress. It's probably something to do with Jor-El or one of the keepers of the fortress.
Mm-hmm. They're saying Kelix, maybe?
Yep.
Could definitely be Kelix, yeah.
I'm not in love with the Fortress of Solitude design, but I feel like they did it in 1970, so we're kind of stuck there forever. So
you can never make it anything else at this point.
I really would like them to change it to something else. Like Crystals is a very 1970s kind of design, but I get it. I am of that unpopular inclination that the 1970s Superman, well, let's just say I came to it in a place where I didn't have the nostalgia for it. And the less said about that, the better at the moment. There was Metamorpho. Here you are.
Oh, that was Metamorpho. I was wondering who that Zordon from the Power Rangers movie looking guy was.
Yeah, I thought that was going to be a Brainiac or something like that, but they're saying that they think this is Metamorpho. That makes sense with Stag Industries and what you were saying before.
Yes, Anthony Kerrigan playing Metamorpho. I think it's where it's all going here.
Is Anthony Kerrigan, is he the guy who always plays psychopaths? I have to look him up.
Well,
Yes. He's a guy who always plays like, because I don't know if he has like just complete alopecia, doesn't have eyebrows. I think he played Zaz in one of the
yes,
like maybe in Gotham.
In Batman Begins.
Okay.
No, he wasn't the one in Batman Begins. Maybe it was Gotham. You're right.
And he's in Barry, which I haven't watched, but I hear he was great in. But it's about hitmen, so yeah, maybe. William Thompson for 5. I don't care what they look like as long as they stay true to the comics and they do Superman right, because he is truth, justice, and the American way. That's right. And if Gunn is playing his cards right, he can really capitalize on everyone being excited about America, or at least half of the country being excited about America. All right, so everyone calling out for Superman. Baravian troops amassing at border, and GBS. What do we?
This goes along with This goes along with a leak that was given a while back that there was going to be a border dispute situation that Superman was going to be assisting with.
Yeah. High probability that they could go the wrong way with that. Also a high probability that any line about the border could be taken in a way that it is not meant.
Well,
so,
I don't think it's on I don't think it's on the US border. I think it's in the Middle East. I don't think he's going to be like, "You got to do better, Senator."
Ooh.
It'd be amazing if he did.
Yeah.
Oh man.
All right. This is one that I was seeing confusion on before. This right here, whoever.
The rumor that I'm hearing is that Lex Luthor creates a clone of Superman and makes Ultraman, and then Ultraman degenerates as a clone, goes insane, and becomes Bizarro.
Well,
that is what I had. That's
how you do Bizarro without having him be full opposite.
Yeah.
So. All right, and we got Mr. Terrific.
He's flying. The guy was flying there at him, so it gives credence to the fact that it is Ultraman. But yes, Mr. Terrific looks good.
He does. It's a very weird design, that domino with the T coming down over the nose. Hard to translate into live action.
Yes,
but if this were the CW, they would announce immediately, by the way, I'm black and gay. As soon as he goes on screen, they have to announce that on the CW. It's so insufferable.
I like that he, like he looks like he's in shape, but like runner shape, because Mr. Terrific is supposed to be a Olympic athlete.
I'm not seeing a fair play on his sleeves, though. I want to see that. We're not at a point where we can see that detail, but this guy right here, I think he was running earlier. These look to be, that's Lois right there. So
that's definitely Lois.
Daily Planet reporters and people in some kind of mech suits with gun hands. Well, okay, that's fine. Yep, we got more Superman and Lois Mac in it.
We got more of, hey, they're straight. They like each other.
Pretty good.
And I'm gonna say, having gotten a lot of female opinions on Superman flying while kissing women, this is not a bad thing. If you want to bring in both the male and female audience for the movie.
There you go.
So
it's as iconic a shot as the Spider-Man hanging upside down kissing Mary Jane's.
It is a really good shot, and I can see a lot of people trying to recreate that one.
I'm shocked they never duplicated the Spider-Man hanging upside down kiss, but
they did kind of play off it in Spider-Man 2. So
but that, I mean, in any of the million.
Jonas said Mac in it. That's right, I did.
I was a little taken aback by that too.
It's the return of the Mac, guys. So that's the flames he was in earlier. So this probably part of that same kaiju fight as before.
Interesting that you end with the studio and not the name of the movie.
Well, because everybody knows what it is.
To me, that speaks to what this is for, and that is, hey, we're doing a new universe. Come see DC Studios. DC Studios is back. Please give us another chance. We're sorry, we won't let Zack Snyder near it again.
It's also the old DC logo, not the old DC logo, but the 90s and the 70s DC logo. That is the old kind of flat, maybe a little bit boring, maybe a little old fashioned. I like the logo. I think it's going to be a little bit more difficult to sell that to people who are, that modern, edgy kind of craving fan base there. But I like it. I like it. So let's go around the panel here. Vash, what did you think of the trailer?
I like the trailer. I think it shows a lot of what people have been saying, optimism, some hope. I think that was really what was missing from the Zack Snyder verse. So this is definitely trying to be a little bit different. It's definitely trying to show you something new, but also be referential, right? So like the Bryan Singer version of Superman, I don't think brought a lot new to the table. So there wasn't really a compelling reason to actually seek it out. Versus this, I think it's a kind of a nice blend of new things that we haven't seen translated before in film, but also too some of that nostalgia of the Superman qualities that we most associate with this character and that we like the most, which is interesting because James Gunn is saying that this is not aiming to set up any other projects. However, when you see this trailer, you got a lot of character integration here. I just wonder how that's all going to translate.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I don't think that the 3 superheroes that they showed that aren't Superman, I don't think that's where they're going to end. Hearing rumors of Booster Gold, which I can't help but notice that Nathan Fillion is not Booster Gold.
No, that'll be Chris Pratt.
Oh, not a bad option, honestly.
No doubt in my mind. No doubt in my mind that's Chris Pratt.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Here's a comment here from from Floral. If they're returning to form, that's good, but they opened with a bleak thumbnail in blood. That scares me. Well, it's a fair point. It's a fair point.
Yeah,
That
is a fair point. We did see moments of hope though, and not like the weird hope that they tried to convey in the Snyder movies where they kind of made him this messianic figure. That's not what he is. That's not what he's supposed to be. He's just supposed to be a guy who's doing what he can to help. I don't know. I felt the hope.
Yeah. Is that your review of the trailer here, by the way, Marvin?
Well, my full review of the trailer can be found on thatparkplace.com, where I have a full written review up on the trailer where I break it down with screenshots.
That's great.
My review here, I would say, I very much enjoyed the trailer. I have hope for this film. However, it is cautious hope. I am. I have been hurt too many times by Warner Brothers and DC. I refuse to get because I was all in on Batman versus Superman. I was like, this is going to be the greatest movie ever made. And then when I sat there, I think Marvin the Movie Monster was born in my heart as I sat there in the movie theater and was truly, truly disappointed for one of the first times ever as a movie fan.
Yeah, I went.
It was the first time I felt betrayed.
I wasn't planning on going to Batman versus Superman, but a bunch of guys that I know were going, and I went. And the thing that I remember most from Batman versus Superman is the entire last hour of that film. I was thinking, when are we going to go eat after? Which that is definitely not what you want on a superhero film. I like the trailer. I didn't like it as much when I watched it the first time, but when I put the headphones in and I let the aping off the John Williams score really come over me here, and listening to that little kid waving a flag in the air calling out for Superman, I was like, that is it right there. There's nobody in the MCU that's like that right now. I'm trying to think if there's anyone out there, like maybe Captain America, but he has to run on foot in order to get there. Generally has to be in some kind of vehicle to get there, but Superman is one of those. You could call out and he could fly in and he could save you at any moment as long as he's got the time to do it.
A friend of mine just sent this to me. He says the trailer gave me a lot of Superman Returns vibes, which both worries and excites me depending on which way it goes.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm with weird WDW Pro for 5. It's not blowing my skirt up, but I'm very hopeful and I will be seeing this in the theaters. Yeah. There are some movies that I go to because I have to watch them. Moana 2. And there are some movies that I'm actually looking forward to the excuse to go see them. For me, I would go into this one hopeful. Of course, there's probably going to be another trailer before July, but here we are. I don't care about whatever the color grading issue was. That doesn't bother me in any way. I didn't notice it if there is one. King of the Monsters for $199, still getting Wish version of Superman and Lex feels. Could be. You do have to update it though, and nobody's going to be perfect. Well, except for Superman.
Thanks for watching That Park Plays News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media accounts.